Season is here. The Dodgers have revealed their pitching plan for the wild card series. Also, who will the 26 players be on that Dodgers wild card round roster? And the Dodgers analyst, the great Jerry Hairston Jr. joins us to break it all down. That's coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live.
It's time for Dodger baseball. Welcome to Dodger Stadium.
This is the golden age of Dodger baseball. The Dodgers are building a dynasty.
You got it, Ronnie, the parade. We got it, parade. The Dodgers punch back and head to the championship series. Ohtani starts the 50-50 club. Milky Magic. Freeman hits the ball to right field. She is gone. Start the party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
Think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
What is up, Dodgers Nation, and welcome to another episode of Dodgers Dugout Live, the _1 Dodgers podcast and Dodgers show on YouTube. My name is Doug McKain. I cover the Dodgers for Dodgers Nation. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. If you watch every episode, you want to support the show, hit the like button and drop a comment down below. But we've got so much Dodger baseball to get into. The postseason is here. We're breaking it all down. Dodgers Reds tomorrow at Dodger Stadium. And we've got lots of Dodger baseball to get into. We've got a special guest to break it all down. And that's where we're going to start with the leadoff.
Leading off, the hottest story in Dodger baseball.
All right, so the postseason begins tomorrow, and here to break it down is the great Jerry Hairston Jr., Dodgers analyst, former Dodgers player. This guy, I call him the People's Dodgers analyst. I feel like whatever needs to be said, Jerry Hairston Jr. is the guy to say it on the post-game shows, the pre-game shows, and we appreciate you joining us here. And the first thing, Jerry, is it feels like this team is in a great spot heading into the postseason. There was those downs, there was the bullpen issues, but all of a sudden, they win 9 of 11 games. The bullpen is pitching better. The starting rotation is better than any team in baseball heading into October. What is your outlook of this team heading into what is hoping to be a deep run this year?
Yeah, I think they're playing their best baseball at the right time. You mentioned the starting rotation. The starting rotation is as good as anybody is in the big leagues, led by Yamamoto. Snell, Glasnow is pitching great. We know what Kershaw has done all season long. Emmet Sheehan has done an outstanding job. And oh, by the way, Shohei Ohtani is also in that starting rotation. He's pitched extremely well. You mentioned the bullpen. I think you're going to have guys, some pieces from that starting rotation be in the bullpen. I'm hearing Glasnow has a chance to be in that bullpen, as well as Emmet Sheehan, two guys that have electric stuff in a short series that could be used in this series. Help out the bullpen. So I think the Dodgers are firing on all cylinders. They're hitting the baseball. We'll hopefully get Will Smith back. I know he's going to be taking some batting practice today, and hopefully see some live pitching, and they'll make a decision on him and Max Muncy as well. I think if the playoffs were a few days ago, Max Muncy would be playing, but they wanted to get him some extra rest. But I hear he's going to be a full go come tomorrow night. Dodgers are playing good baseball at the right time.
And yesterday, Jerry, Dave said that it'd be a safe bet to have Blake Snell as their game one starter. We learned earlier today we're going to see Snell, Yamamoto, and then if it has to go to a third game, Shohei Ohtani is an option. Blake Snell feels like the right choice. I mean, this is a guy, career .333 postseason ERA. He's pitching as well as all of these guys, and really there is no right and no wrong answer when it comes to these top of the rotation guys. They're all elite. But talk about the decision to go with Blake Snell in game one.
Well, I think sometimes they'll figure out who they were going to play against first. Who knows if that would have been the decision. Let's say if the Mets were able to get in, maybe they went Yamamoto. But either way, like you mentioned, all three of them, really all five guys, you can run out their game one, including Emmet Sheehan. He's a guy who's pitched extremely well. So listen, you go Blake Snell, game one. Obviously, he's pitched in big games before. He's pitched in World Series before against the Dodgers. So he's a guy that's pitching extremely well. I like the matchup. He poses some problems for the Cincinnati Reds. He's a lefty as well, can shut the run game if they were to get down to first base, possibly a little better. So, but make no mistake about it. Dodgers have the horses 1-5, 1-6 to get it done. And in a short series too, you got to be able to play well right away. You're playing against a team, the Reds have nothing to lose. They're playing with house money. So you expect them to be very aggressive at the plate and very aggressive on the bases.
Yeah, Ellie De La Cruz, you struggled against lefties all year. This Reds team, they struggle against lefties. It feels like the right choice. And it's like a rich billionaire going to his garage and he's like, do I take the Ferrari, the Bugatti, the Lamborghini? I mean, I've seen your car, by the way, Jerry. I know that you're balling too. You got one of those nice rides, right? So it's like, there is no wrong choice, man. They're all elite in their own right. But having Shohei Ohtani in the third game, I think is interesting to me too, because the second game, the first game, so we'll see how things play out. But having that guy with really has electric stuff to be the actual stopper of that series where there's no tomorrow, I like that too. And then hopefully you just shut out and you win those first two games. You don't have to use Ohtani and he gets that extended rest for the DS.
I agree with that. There's nothing wrong with having a guy like Shohei Ohtani available in your back pocket if there is a third game at home. That definitely, I think, gives the Dodgers an edge. But we're hoping to get game one. I think that's the biggest thing. I can't stress enough. This is a short series. This is not a 5-game, which 5 games to me is a short series. But a 3-game series, you're out to focus game one. Win game one, put the pressure on the Cincinnati Reds. And we know, listen, they figure out a way to get game one. Guess what? The pressure shifts to us. Have to get game two. So you got to get game one. You got Blake Snell, a lefty, like you mentioned. Reds have struggled against left-handed pitching. So you got to make sure you score runs. I have a feeling they're going to go with Hunter Green. I don't know if they announced that yet for the game one. He's a tough guy it's tough to get runs off him, but you have to figure out a way to manufacture runs and put runs on the board to help out your starting pitcher.
And that's what terrifies me, Jared. You mentioned it. A team like the Reds, they have nothing to lose. Feels like they're playing with house money. No one expects them to win. How dangerous is a team like that going up against a Dodgers team that has all the expectations in the world?
Extremely dangerous. This is different than football. In football, you can run out your starting quarterback. You already know who's going to be in the AFC Championship game. It's either going to be Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes or both, because those guys are elite quarterbacks. In baseball, it's a whole lot different. You run out some horses, like we have horses in Blake Snell, Yamamoto, and then maybe Shohei Ohtani if there is a game 3. Guess what? The Reds have some young horses too. So it is a time where you got to make sure you play your A game, figure out a way to get him early, because once a guy like Hunter Green gets rolling, throwing that 100 miles an hour with a devastating breaking ball, he's a tough cookie. So you got to make sure you play your best and be ready to go jump first inning.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, I think you're fishing for a reason for me to compliment your Bears for winning yesterday. Nicely done. Good Ben Johnson, better game for Caleb Williams. So there's that, Jerry. But yeah, I think you look at this team and you mentioned starting rotation, the offense, Max Muncy back, and there's really no questions about the talent of this offense. The question about this team for the last month and the entire year, quite frankly, has been the performance of the bullpen. I think it's tough to evaluate the bullpen now because we don't know what a Dodgers bullpen looks like for an extended period of time with Emmet Sheehan and Roki Sasaki and potentially Clayton Kershaw and using Tyler Glass now, and maybe even Shohei Ohtani in safe situations. So do you feel more confident today than you did a week ago about this bullpen?
I do. Listen, we all saw what Emmet Sheehan can do. He's pitched out of the bullpen before. Tyler Glasnow is a veteran guy. He's a guy that you could tell him, hey, be ready. You got the 8th and 9th inning. You can kind of prepare him. I think in the ideal world, you get, let's say, a Blake Snell, who's a lefty, right? You have him pitch, hopefully go 6, 7 strong innings. You say, you know what, Emmet Sheehan, you got the 8th and 9th. Air it out. You have him have that build-up. So like-minded, he says, okay, I'm like a starter, starting to get myself in a routine in the 3rd, 4th, 5th inning and be ready to go in the 8th or 9th inning. I think that would be ideal. I don't know if they're going to do that. And then maybe game 2, you have a guy like, Yamamoto gives us 6, 7 strong innings. Maybe have a guy like Glasnow go out there, give us an inning or 2. And then Roki Sasaki come out. We've seen what he can do with an inning. I think with Roki, this has been a blessing in disguise for him. Listen, the season has not gone the way he would have liked, the way he had dreamt it. He obviously wanted to be a starter and pitch well, from the beginning of the season on, but it didn't go this way. But he can save and really salvage his season and be a hero to us out of that bullpen. Be that guy who could give us that inning, maybe two, who can go out there and throw that devastating forkball to go along with 100, 101 mile an hour fastball. So there's a lot of different ways we can use our power guys out of that bullpen. So you're right. It is yet to be seen just how great this bullpen can be.
Yeah, it's extremely exciting. We've been talking about on this show for a couple of months. Like, what if Roki comes up and could have that Frankie Rodriguez type of impact because of how unknown he is to opposing hitters, because of the way this stuff plays. And he did it in Arizona, but my question was, does he follow it up? And not only did he follow up what he did in Arizona, in Seattle, you're going against Cal Raleigh, and you're confident enough to throw those 3 splitters in the zone and get him out. I think the sky's the limit for that guy. I'm excited to see him in big spots. I do want to ask you, though, I feel like you're the CEO of the Kike Hernandez fan club. Like, I don't think there's ever been a bigger supporter of Kike Hernandez. And he's been saying after every big game he's had over the last week, how much consistent at-bats and consistent playing time has led to having better results. Do you think they need to go to him early in the postseason and find starts for him? Or how do you think they work him into the lineup?
He started game one. He has to start game one. Remember, this is a short series. You don't have the luxury to say, okay, we're going to match this guy. We'll go to the analytic. No. This is now the postseason. So you really kind of throw some analytics out of the window. Now, you want all the information. The information I do know about Kike Hernandez, he's a big game player. Okay, he's a pure 280 hitter in the postseason with like 15 bombs. That's stats I want to see. And it doesn't matter if he's a righty or lefty. What I like about Kike Hernandez, because of the Max Muncy injury, now he's starting to get burned, right? He's got at-bats, and now he's starting to find his rhythm. He's taking advantage of those at-bats. So, to me, he has to be in the lineup game one. Has to. Now, Max Muncy's going to start, obviously, at third base. Now, my question, I would ask Tommy Edman, where do you feel more comfortable with your ankle? Do you feel more comfortable maybe controlling the ankle in the outfield, let's say center field, or do you feel better at second base? So that would, to me, I'd go to Tommy Edman, where do you feel the most comfortable with your ankle? If he says he'd rather play second base, then immediately you have Kike Hernandez go in the outfield. Now, vice versa, if he feels more comfortable in center field to control his ankle, then you have Kike Hernandez play second base. Kike has to be in the lineup. Again, now, if it's a 7-game series, now I think all games are important. You know, maybe you can have a luxury to play this guy or play that guy. But in a short series, you don't have that luxury. You have to play your guys that you know perform in the postseason. That is an absolute fact. I have a feeling Kike is going to be the starting lineup game one.
I love to hear you say that because I couldn't agree more. Because my big fear is, you mentioned Hunter Green. And yeah, sure, he gave a couple home runs against the Dodgers in the regular season. That was the regular season. If you get a hot pitcher on the right day, hey, great pitching, it plays up in the postseason. And this offense is getting cold and they're a little tight. Who's the guy who came up with the big home run in Game 5 of the NLDS against the Padres? It was Kike Hernandez. And my big fear is, like you mentioned, in a 2-game series, you get down a game and you're looking at elimination game already. And then now it's, never fear, Kike is here. By then, it could be too late, right?
Why get to that point?
Yeah.
You know, we did that a couple of years ago, I think, against the D-backs. You know, why get to that point? You know, you play your postseason performance. This is why you signed Kike. This is why you re-signed Kike. Now, Kike, you know, we know he's fun-loving. You know, the season is a long season. I really believe baseball season is the grind is just so mentally taxing. And maybe for a guy like Kike, it is a long season. Okay, but we do know that postseason is the real season. And that real season, Kike always shows up. So I'm a big supporter of winning. I want to win. So, you know, I want my guys that I know that I can count on, that he's not going to shy away from the moment. Now, does he go 4 for 4? I don't know. Does he go 0 for 4? I have no idea. But I do know he's not going to be afraid of the moment. I do know that. So that's why I'm more comfortable having Kike playing in these games.
I preach. I mean, I think you can live with him not having success. Well, you cannot live with him not getting opportunity to have big at-bats. And you would have to be a long winter of regret if you don't use Kike Hernandez. I cannot agree with more. Sammy Sosa's regular season OPS for his entire career is equivalent to Kike Hernandez's postseason OPS. So in the postseason, he's like Giancarlo Stanton and Sammy Sosa. In the regular season, you don't leave a guy out of the lineup that can produce like that. Cannot agree more. Do you have any concerns, Jerry, about Will Smith's hand injury and how this has continued to linger a little bit?
I am a little concerned. So that said, you know, you're going to find out today how he's feeling. Now, does he push it? Is it one of those things where if he does go out and play, is he going to re-injure it even more, make it worse? Or is it going to be like, hey, no matter what he does, it is what it is. He's just going to have that pain tolerance. How much pain can he tolerate? I hope that's the case. Certainly, you never want an injured player to be out there if he can really make it worse. I don't want that to happen. So they'll find that out today. They'll re-examine it. Listen, he's a difference maker. We know he's one of the best catchers in the world. I call him America's catcher, not just for his offense, for his defense as well. He shuts down the running game, which is so important. 90 feet. Nomar Garcia-Parra talks about it all the time. 90 feet is so important in the postseason. And shutting down a team like the Reds, who like to run, it's so important to have a guy healthy, Will Smith, if he's available.
Yeah, that's a great point because especially we mentioned it, a team with nothing to lose, they're more likely to run. They're going to try to get runners in scoring position to put pressure on the pitcher. And I think for me, even if he's going to be a pinch hitter option, I mean, there's an organization that has the history of Kirk Gibson and Freddie Freeman, injured players that can come up in big spots. And if Will Smith, it's a late game, Ren Rortvedt starting and you need him at the plate against a left or even a righty, I could absolutely see him coming off the bench, getting a big bomb, give me a big base hit. So I would love to see his bat stay in this lineup. I just having an option of Will Smith is huge for me. I could not agree more. I do want to ask you about Clayton Kershaw because had it been a little emotional. I mean, this whole couple weeks for you, I know you guys are in the group chats. You've known him for a long time. I love the way he's handled and embraced this whole retirement tour. It's been really, I think, not like a season-long thing, but it's been a couple of weeks. Yesterday, I think it ended the right way. Him ending on a strikeout. He got his last strikeout at Dodger Stadium. But just what do you make on how this whole thing has played out for Clayton Kershaw? Kind of what has he meant to you as a teammate?
Well, first and foremost, Clayton Kershaw, the person, is one of the best people. Him and his wife, Ellen, best peoples I've ever been around. What they've done in the community, not just in the LA community, in the state of Texas, but really globally with their outreach program to help so many less fortunate people and kids. My words can't give it justice. How many people and families they've helped. Them just as people are first class. And also with Clayton Kershaw, what he's meant, Steven Nelson made a great point yesterday, right after, or maybe I think it was right before the game. Clayton Kershaw has been in this franchise for 2 decades, 18 years. Prior to those 18 years, the Dodgers, I think, reached the postseason 4 or 5 times. When Kershaw arrived, they reached the postseason, 15 out of his 18 years, 16 out of his 18 years, something ridiculous. He has made this franchise and been the foundation for this franchise for so many years, and he has been one of the best ambassadors, not just with the Dodgers, but in pro sports. You can put Clayton Kershaw and have him represent your organization, have him represent baseball, and he's been the perfect ambassador for the game of baseball. I am so glad he is going on top athletically, and I'm hoping he goes out on top the right way in winning another championship. So Clayton, the way he's went about his business has been really second to none. I like him in the same class as Cal Ripken Jr. I played with Cal. My first 3 years in the big leagues. It was his last 3 years. And a guy like Tony Gwynn as well. He's certainly in that category. Played for one franchise his entire career and represented the franchise the best way. And he's just one of my favorite teammates of all time. Quietly funny. A lot of people don't know that he is kind of quietly funny. But I hope he goes out the right way with another championship.
Got to send Clayton Kershaw out on top. And the fact that he's not going to be on this wild card roster, do you think, Jerry, you've been in those clubhouses, hey, we better win this series so we can get Kersh back on the mound. You think that's happening?
I know that's happening. Listen, I love Dave Roberts and Andrew Friedman and Brandon Gomes. That's a little bit of a strategy. They're not going to admit that. But I love this strategy, knowing that, hey, Kersh, because he pitched Sunday, remember, it's a short series. So he won't be available Tuesday and Wednesday anyway. So leaving him off their roster, you better believe there's some extra motivation. You got to get to the NLDS and have Clayton Kershaw coming out of the bullpen and get further along and get to the World Series and win the World Series. Not just get to the World Series, win the World Series. So having that added motivation, kind of like winning for Kersh, I felt that energy, different in a positive way. After he made that announcement, being around those guys in that clubhouse, knowing, hey, there's an extra heightened urgency, and I think that's a great thing.
We need to see it. We would love to see it. We need to see shirtless Kersh going crazy, celebrating a World Series, going crazy at the parade, saying Dodger for life, all that awesome stuff. So I can't wait to see that. All right, last one here, Jerry. Going to let you pick your World Series. Are the Dodgers going to win the World Series? And if they do, who will the World Series MVP be for the Dodgers?
Lord. Yes, the Dodgers are going to win the World Series. I just think I like the way this team is playing right now, and then the added pieces we're going to have to the bullpen. They're starting to really fire on all cylinders. I like them getting out of the National League. It's going to be a tough road now. Philadelphia Phillies are good. The Cubs are good. People have been not talking about the Milwaukee Brewers, man. They're a good team as well. They're going to get to the World Series. I would love to see a Dodgers-Toronto World Series. I would love to see that. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I'm rooting for that. You got the Dodgers representing, the United States of America. You got Toronto representing Canada. We kind of have a mini kind of Ryder Cup, if you will.
Yeah.
USA versus Canada. That would be cool to see.
So Shohei Ohtani will be on a plane to Toronto, but it will be to play the Blue Jays in the World Series, not to go sign with them. Is that what you're saying, right?
I would love to see that, but I wouldn't mind the Yankees. I wouldn't mind a repeat either. I wouldn't mind that as well. Yankees and Dodgers would be fun as well.
I love to hear it, and we love having you on the show. You're the best, Jerry, and we appreciate the time. And buckle up. It's going to be a long ride, like you said, and thank you, as always, for joining us here. The great Jerry Hairston Jr. Follow him. Watch him on Sports NLA. We appreciate all the analysis throughout the entire year, and enjoy the postseason, Jerry.
And make sure you guys watch us pre and post game, right after the game.
Pre and post, yeah. That's by the way, I'll throw that out there. That is just because the Dodgers game will not be on Sports NLA, it's required essential viewing to go right to SNLA to watch the post game and then pre-game too. Best coverage in the game. No one does it better than you guys. Hard Tongue, Nomar, whoever you guys got. It's like the Dodgers rotation, right? They're all aces.
Absolutely.
You're the man, Jerry. Appreciate you, and good luck to your Bears.
The Bears.
The Bears. Hopefully, the Dodgers are going to win another World Series, like Jerry Hairston Jr. said. And let us know down below in the comment section, what are your thoughts on what Jerry had to say about
Leading
all
off,
this stuff as far as the rotation, Kike Hernandez getting in the lineup. I love to hear that because I totally agree. I think you just cannot not use Kike when he's been as good as he's been throughout his career in the postseason. But I really appreciate having me on. Having him on. He's the best. I mean, I just love his analyst. I call him the Dodgers, the people's analyst for the Dodgers, because he's always saying what you think needs to be said. I watch a lot of shows for other teams out there, and they're a little cookie cutter. Jerry Hairston keeps it 100, and we appreciate that as always. But coming up next, we are going to talk about the Dodgers rotation, the decision to go with Blake Snell, Yamamoto, and Ohtani in the wild card round, and we are going all 1 through 26 for the Dodgers wild card round roster. Tonight, I will be at Dodgers Stadium for the open practice from 5 to 7. Dave Roberts is going to speak to reporters as well as other players, so be locked in for that. But that's coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live. Welcome to the Dodgers Nation Podcast Network, your front row seat to everything Dodgers all season long. Home of the #1 Dodgers podcast in the world, Dodgers Dugout Live, hosted by me, Doug McKain. Friends call me D-Mac, and we cover everything about your boys in blue, everything you need to know about Dodger baseball in less than an hour. We've got breaking news, post-game breakdowns, roster updates, trade rumors, in-depth player analysis, Dodgers trivia, you name it. Whether it's a wild walk-off at the Ravine, a key call-up from OKC, we've got the insight, we got the coverage, and we're here for you all year long. We're the #1 Dodgers site on every platform, and we're born and based in LA. We're loyal to the soil. Dodger baseball is what we do. Trusted by tens of thousands of daily listeners, Dodgers Nation is more than just recaps. We are LA. Whether you're in Echo Park or out in the Valley, Beverly Hills, whatever it is, if you bleed blue, this pod's for you. The more you guys subscribe, the bigger we can build, and we can do this together. So stay up to date with our Dodgers Nation post-game shows and breakdowns and podcasts. You can listen while you're lifting, while you're in traffic, or while pretending to answer work emails. We won't tell. Subscribe now on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your baseball fix. So if you're a new listener or a longtime listener of the podcast, write us a review and we'll read it on the show. Join the conversation. Stay ahead of the game and never miss a pitch with the Dodgers Nation Podcast Network. And welcome back to Dodgers Dugout Live, the #1 Dodgers podcast and Dodgers show on YouTube. Special thanks to our guy, Jerry Hairston Jr. for joining us. And as he said, tune into Sportsnet LA before and after every single game so you can hear all the press conferences, all the scrums. You get the best analysis. Let's be honest, the national guys aren't going to do as much as the guys that do it all year round. So be sure to rock with them. Got some comments here. 80 Ognira. $10. Give you a nice little let's go Dodgers for that. Treat every upcoming game as important as the other. Don't take anything for granted. 13 more to go. Let's go Dodgers. Yeah, absolutely. You have to have that mindset. Any team, I've said it before, a 90-win team can beat a 110-win team. An 80-win team can beat a 95-win team. It's all pretty bunched up. And then the shorter the series is, the more the variance is. I mean, I've told you this before, that you need to play a 75-game series in the NBA, an 11-game series in the NFL, a 51-game series in the NHL to match the unpredictability of a Major League Baseball postseason series where you want the better team to win heading into that series winning. 80% of the time, it is a crapshoot. But the good news is the Dodgers have such a great roster and they're in a really good spot heading into this series that you really feel if they just play their game, that you don't need the A+ version of the Dodgers to beat the Reds, but you definitely need the B version to make sure you make this a short series and you don't set yourself up for a winner-take-all Game 3. Even though Shohei Ohtani will be the move there, you just do not want to put yourself in that position. Justin Lama says, hey, D-Mac, who do you think is going to win the Cabo series, Houston or the New York Mets? There you go. Here's a finish him. Yeah, how about that Astros team? How about that Trastros team that made so much out of a regular season series win over the Dodgers and blowing out the Dodgers like they did over the 4th of July weekend, acting like it was this big deal? Yeah, they got swept. And sure, who cares? It means nothing. It meant absolutely nothing because the truth is Houston, their ballpark, it is a Spirit Halloween Superstore. And the Trastros, they will not be participating for the first time in a long time in the postseason. I was hoping to see the Trastros go up against the Dodgers in the World Series just because I wanted to exercise that demon. But I think you look at the Mets too, a team that, hey, they were a team that was put together to beat the Dodgers, right? A lot of top-end talent. Issue that the Mets have is you look at that money that Juan Soto signed before, none of that money was deferred. I mean, Soto's contract is absolutely insane for the Mets. And you look at the dollar amount, and it's just $765 million contract on a 15-year deal. Shohei Ohtani, it's not a $700 million contract. It's a $463 million contract in present-day value. And that's a Mets team that is trying so badly to be the Dodgers, but they're seeing how hard it is to win and win at the highest level consistently. So, yeah, as you point out, enjoy Cancun, enjoy Cabo, wherever it is. The Trastros getting eliminated is hilarious to me. The fact that you traded for Carlos Correa. And how about Ben Verlander? You see Ben Verlander, our guy, he tweeted out something like, oh, everyone's talking about what the Mariners did, but it was the Astros that won the deadline, this and that. Yeah, they won the deadline, but they will not be winning the World Series because they will not be in the World Series because they will not make the postseason. So enjoy Cancun, Houston. Jimmy Houston Jerkich, hot take, Dodgers must win 2 out of the next 3 games. Yeah, I mean, that works for me. Absolutely works for me. Ruben, yo, D-Mac, what's the difference between a hot dog from Dodger Stadium and a hot dog from Oracle Park? You can get a hot dog from Dodger Stadium in October. There you go. Comment of the show right there. I love that. Yeah, how about that? The Dodgers absolutely eviscerated their enemies. They absolutely took down the National League West and took away all their little hopes and dreams in a span of a couple of weeks. Remember the Giants? The Giants are the hottest team in baseball. They got in a fight in Colorado, so now they're going to take down the Dodgers. SF stands for season finished. The Dodgers went up there, ended the Giants series, and then it was, don't forget about the Diamondbacks, one of the best teams in baseball in the second half of the season. A sub-3 ERA in August. This is a Diamondbacks team that beat the Dodgers in 2023. Diamondbacks, your season's finished. You can jump into your own poll. And then you look at the Padres. The Padres. I think Ben Verlander picked the Padres to win the division and the Dodgers not even to make the postseason. Something insane. And the Padres, we're in first place for 2 days. Let's hang that in first place for 2 days banner. Let's have that we're in first place for 48 hours trophy. And what happened now? The Dodgers, they went down there. They were able to salvage the series and play better baseball down the stretch. So all of these teams, and the Rockies are the Rockies, okay. But all of these teams that thought they had a legit chance to catch the Dodgers did not. I will say we could still see the Padres and the Dodgers in the NLCS if they beat the teams in front of them. So I wouldn't rule that out. But yeah, the Giants, actually fired Bob Melvin today. So, hey, the Dodgers literally cost Bob Melvin his job. So you love to see it. You love to see
real quick, too, we got some pretty cool breaking news.
Let's do it.
Joe Kelly's throwing out the first pitch at Dodger Stadium tomorrow.
Awesome stuff. So Joe Kelly throwing out the first pitch. You love to see that, man. Joe Kelly, if they were playing the Dodgers, you would want to sign him to throw at one of their players and just throw if it was the player playing them. But Joe Kelly is a Dodgers legend. They have not taken down the Mariachi Joe mural right in the top reserve level. He's someone that is going to be a part of Dodgers history forever because when you talk about the 2020 World Series, you're always going to talk about the Dodgers' first visit to Houston when Joe Kelly threw at Alex Bregman and Carlos Correa. And I always laugh at that too. I mean, that was just one of the funniest things that you're ever going to see is Carlos Correa being mad at Joe Kelly saying, if I hit that for a home run, it'd be a home run. But that was a strike. That was a strike. That was just one of the great dust-ups in Major League Baseball history. And I think that helped a lot of Dodgers fans that are really struggling with the fact that at the time they had not won that World Series since 1988. So for Joe Kelly to say, hey, yeah, I wasn't a part of that team, but I'm going to take the onus. I got this. Let me take care of these bullies for you. But that's going to be really cool. I'll never forget. Carlos Correa, you struck me out. So what? If I hit a home run, I'd be running home plate right now. I mean, Carlos Correa and the Dodgers are always going to be a funny talking point for sure. But it's cool to see it. I mean, he's not a Dodgers Hall of Famer or anything like that, but it just goes to show that when you're a big part of this organization at any point, that this fan base will wrap their arms around you and love you. And let's not forget, and I'm going to connect this to Tanner Scott. You think that Tanner Scott is getting hate from Dodgers fans this year? I don't know if Dodgers fans remember this, but in 2019, they did not like Joe Kelly. They thought Joe Kelly was the worst signing. They thought he was a bust. I mean, it got pretty ugly. And all of a sudden, Mariachi Joe really started to turn things around. So that's going to be exciting. Can't wait to see Joe Kelly throwing out the first pitch. What are fans saying about it, Noel?
They're super excited. A lot of people are saying let him throw out a couple of pitches in the bullpen too. Throw him out there in the innings.
They might need him. That's the thing.
It's going to be fun though. It's going to be good times. I know he was trying to come back to the team this year. Probably didn't work out, but it's still cool to see him honored before the postseason game.
I mean, look, he said earlier this summer that if he was going to come back, it was only going to be for the Dodgers. The dude's a man of his word because the only time he's going to be throwing a pitch is going to be a first pitch, and that's going to be for the Dodgers opener in the postseason. So, yeah, you definitely kind of feel bad for the guy because you know that he wanted to come back. And the truth is, options-wise, he would probably have been better than a lot of guys in that bullpen this year. But still exciting, man. Anytime Joe Kelly's around, it's good news. But all right, guys, let's get to the roster. And we are going to do it like this. We're going to go 1 through 26 through the roster. And if they're a lock to make it, you'll hear one of these. If they're going to get through, we're going to see one of these. And if they're off the roster, it's going to be one of these. And before we get into it, we got to talk about the news that you're going to see Blake Snell getting the ball in game 1 for the Dodgers. Blake Snell is going to get it. And a big 3 rotation for the Dodgers. is what they have. It's a big three. You got Snell, you got Yamamoto, and then you got Shohei Ohtani if you need it. But I think the big thing for me is a couple of things. The Reds, they struggle against left-handed pitching. We know that. We saw that when they were against the Dodgers early on this season. And I think when you look at the decision to go Blake Snell, it's pretty much a no-brainer. And if you saw Saturday night show, in the post-game show, when I kept saying the Dodgers should go with Blake Snell, and then I made a reel about it, and then I tweeted about it, that's me saying that, yeah, I had heard that on Saturday, that they were leaning towards Blake Snell, and that's ultimately what they did. So sometimes I'm trying to tell you guys things without trying to tell you guys things, and there's another example. But Blake Snell is an ace. Blake Snell is a guy that would be the game one starter for just about every team in baseball. He has a .333 career postseason ERA. He's given up 6 runs in his last 24 innings of work. We've seen dominant starts from Blake, double-digit strikeout games. He owned the Phillies with 12 strikeouts against them. And then you consider this as a Reds offense where if you look at this season, the Cincinnati Reds have a .229 batting average against lefties, a .653 OPS. That's bottom of the league level stuff. Their batting average is 24th in the sport, and their .653 OPS is 25th. So they've struggled against lefties. And then who's a player that can beat you? If you look at Elly De La Cruz, he's a guy that he's going to try to make a statement. He's going to try to do everything he can to get his team on the board. And Elly De La Cruz has been bad against lefties all year. This season, Elly against southpaws, yeah, it's been pretty rough. A .236 batting average and a .618 OPS. So some of their best hitters are not good against lefties. As a team, they're not good against lefties. And I think, too, what this does is with Yamamoto pitching the next game, there's a bigger chance, there's a higher probability that Yamamoto will go deeper into the game. 7 innings, 100-plus pitches. We know that Blake Snell is certainly capable of it. Wouldn't be surprised to see him go 7 innings. But if you're going to go Blake Snell game one, and let's say he gives you 6 dominant innings, let's say he gives you 6 innings of 1-run ball or 2-run ball, and then you have to go to that bullpen for the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. At that point, you're not just, oh, this guy gets the 7th, this guy gets the 8th, this guy gets the 9th. No, the different thing about postseason baseball versus regular season baseball is it's more matchup based. And yes, you do have the 3-batter minimum for relievers that come out of the pen. You got to face those 3 batters, but still you're looking for matchups. You're not looking for innings, you're looking for outs. Can this guy get the bottom of the order 3 outs here? Can he get 4 outs here? Can he get 5 outs here? Can he get 1 or 2 outs here? That's kind of how it works in the postseason. You're playing the matchups. You're looking for outs. You're not just going to blindly give out innings. And if Blake Snell's going in game one, you're going to do everything you can to win that game. And that means Rogi Sasaki could be a possibility. Emmet Sheehan could be a possibility. Dave Roberts said yesterday, Tyler Glasnow could be an option out of the Dodgers bullpen. We know Clayton Kershaw is going to be left off, and we'll talk about that in a second here. But when you look at the starters that are becoming relievers in Sheehan, in Roki, Glasnow would be a temporary thing because you're going to use Glasnow in the DS and CS in the World Series because he's clearly the 4th best starter on this team. But in a short series, when there is no tomorrow and you have to win, you're going to go with your best arms available. And in the game one with Snell, if he's not going to go as many innings and you have to rely on some of those arms coming out of the pen, then it makes sense because Yamamoto in the second game hopefully can cover 7 innings, and then you got 2 innings to cover 6 outs. And at that point, you have to see who's available out of the bullpen. Emmet Sheehan, Roki on back-to-back days. Do you trust Blake Trinan? Do you trust Anthony Bonda? Do you trust Alex Vesia? I think you absolutely do, and I think that that's where you mix it up. So that's why I think it makes perfect sense. I think Blake Snell on regular rest, getting the start. You gave him $182 million for a reason. He's been great in the postseason. They struggle against lefties. Only decision I think that you could at least discuss would be if you go at Yamamoto in game 2, well, then yeah, he's going to get his opportunities in the DS, but he won't be the game 1 starter. That I think would possibly go to Glass now. He can even stretch some things out. We'll see how they use Blake Snell in the postseason. But I think for game 2, if you went with Ohtani and you shorten that series, that means you could have saved Yamamoto for the DS, where he's been the best road pitcher in Major League Baseball per ERA. But I do think, though, look, on the flip side, I totally think it's the right decision, because could you imagine if this Dodgers team got bounced and they didn't use their best pitcher in the regular season in that series? There would be hell to pay. There would be nasty headlines. There would be people calling for people's job, right? And like I told Jerry Hairston, like, there is no wrong answer. It is like a billionaire going out to his garage and saying, do I take the Phantom Rolls Royce? Do I take the Bugatti Chiron? Do I take the LaFerrari? Do I take the Lamborghini? Do I take which luxury car? Because they're all great. They're all superstar level pitchers. The question is going to become, though, how does the bullpen shake out after that? And who do they go to? What spots? And we'll, I think, find out a little more about how that'll be deployed today. But let me know down below in the comment section, how do you guys feel about the decision to go Blake Snell in game 1? Look, Snellzilla's ready too. He's fresh. Blake Snell on the season is the most fresh of any of the starters, because you look at the year that Shohei Ohtani's had. He's hit and he's pitched. You look at Emmet Sheehan. You look at Clayton Kershaw. You look at Glass now. You look at Yamamoto. Blake Snell on the year has gone 61 in a third innings. And yes, that's more than Shohei, but Shohei also had a 55 home run season. So let's not forget that. But he's posted a 2.35 ERA, a 3.20 expected ERA, a 2.70 FIP. That was the right move. They got the starting pitcher in place that can get the job done. The question now becomes, what does this mean for Clayton Kershaw? Because I find it pretty interesting that Clayton Kershaw, he came out of the bullpen in Arizona, got the job done. Yes, there was a really great play made by Tommy Edman that helped him get the job done. But then he makes his final start yesterday up in Seattle, and it was a great moment. I thought they played it perfectly. I like the fact that you get him a moment there. And had he only pitched a couple of innings in that game, it wouldn't really have felt the same. I think against the Mariners on the road, yes, it was a meaningless game. But the truth is, if they go 2 innings and they save him for the bullpen in the wild card round, then you're just, I think, putting him in a bad spot, because you already have so many lefty options. And yesterday he goes 5 1/3 innings, 7 strikeouts, 1 walk, gave up just 4 hits. And I think it was perfect. Freddie Freeman came out there to get the ball from him. His teammates embraced him. Freddie Freeman said after the game that it was a big moment for him. Clayton Kershaw, I think, felt it was a great moment for him. So I think from the ceremonial aspect, the theater of baseball aspect, they handle things the right way. And I think that's part of it. They wanted to give Clayton Kershaw a moment in his regular season finale. Like, there is no guarantees that he was ever going to be used in the wild card round. And if this is it, can you imagine that if the Dodgers lose to the Reds, that would be it, that Clayton Kershaw wouldn't be on that final roster? But I think he's okay with it. I think he's at peace with it. And I don't think that this necessarily means that Clayton Kershaw is going to be making a start, because that doesn't make any sense to me. And I just want to point that out right now. Clayton Kershaw making a start does not make sense, because you have 5 starting pitchers who I think are better than him. And this is coming from the devout Christian, the all-time Kershaw Glazer. I've had his back since day one. I've seen millions and millions and millions of hours of Clayton Kershaw pitching. But the truth is, you can't make the case that he should be starting a postseason game over Blake Snell, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Shohei Ohtani, Tyler Glasnow, and even Emmet Sheehan. Last couple of months, Emmet Sheehan has been a top 10 to 15 pitcher in baseball based on whiff rate and strikeout rate and stuff and how he's played up. So I think what this just is they're moving him to the DS just because they really just wanted to give him that final start. And they feel like from a lefty's perspective, they have things covered in the wild card round. You've got a lot of lefties you can work with Vesia, with Scott, with Bonda. You got Robleski. There's plenty of options that you wouldn't need to tap into the Kershaw well if you needed to. So I don't think this means he's going to be starting a game necessarily. If it presented itself, the Dodgers are up big in a series. Let's say they're up 3-0. I could see him giving Clayton Kershaw a start, but I would not want to see Kershaw out there instead of Glasnow or Sheehan. Right now, Sheehan's built up to be a bullpen guy, and they want to use him on consecutive games. But the truth is, the other guys in front of them, he should not be starting in front of. So that's why he was left off the roster. It's because he wasn't going to be used. I don't think this means that he's going to get one of those early series starts against the Phillies. There's no way. There's no way. Because the same reason why you were doing this to kind of have him sent off the right way in the regular season, you do not want to have him end his career getting rocked in the postseason. I just don't want to see that. I want to see him in a multi-inning role potentially, in a one-inning role potentially. And if you need some coverage in a mop-up, hey, he's that guy. He's got nothing to prove, man. He's already beaten the video game. He's just playing it again for fun on story mode, exploring the map, okay? Let's not worry about Clayton Kershaw. But a couple things, by the way, I wanted to point out. Clayton Kershaw, you look how his career ended in the regular season, and it's remarkable. It really, truly is. The fact that his ERA plus is identical with the great Pedro Martinez, a 154 ERA plus throughout his career, that's the best ERA plus in the live ball era with a minimum of 2,300 innings of work. So he's been fantastic. He's going to ride it from the sunset. It's just a matter of sending him out the right way. So now let's go down the list for the roster spots. Well, the locks are easy. And we go 1 through 26. We're going to go position players first. Then we go down all the way to the pitchers. And if you hear a lock sound, that means they're 100% lock. So Shohei Ohtani, he's a lock. Mookie Betts, he's a lock. Freddie Freeman, he's a lock. Teoscar Hernandez, who's been a lot better of late. I think the only question for Teoscar Hernandez is late game substitutions defensively, because with the way that he's been better in the outfield, and like I said, I've said that on this show a couple times, that whole mix-up during the Rockies series where the LA Times reported that the Dodgers were having a meeting with Mookie Betts to potentially move back to right field. What I heard was that the meeting was to talk to them about talking to Teoscar Hernandez about his defense, and that Mookie Betts and Miguel Rojas did have a conversation with Teoscar Hernandez about his effort and his play in right field. And that after that night, things have turned it around, and you've seen a much better version of Teoscar Hernandez. And he's another guy that's heading into the postseason pretty hot. I mean, he's riding a really nice 6-game hitting streak. And we saw his first triple the other night against the Diamondbacks. Saw a home run in that game. Teoscar's locked in. He lives for the moment. Let's not forget last year, he's the guy who had the big insurance run bomb against the Padres in Game 5 of the NLDS. He's the guy who had the game-tying double in Game 5 of the World Series. Teoscar Hernandez lives for the postseason. He rakes against lefties. And, of course, he's a lock. So that brings you to 4 guys on the roster. Max Muncy gave a little bit of an update on his injury situation, and we know that he's missed time this year with the knee injury, with the oblique injury. There's been a couple of instances where you're worrying, okay, could his season be done? What do you expect from Max Muncy? Well, like Jerry Hairston said, he's expected to be a full go. He got hit on the knee a couple of games ago against the Giants. I think it's a combination of some lingering effects from just being sore, but also not wanting to aggravate the oblique. He's a guy that is on the older side now. He's closer to getting up there. He's almost, I mean, think about when Max Muncy got here to where he is now. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's 35, right? Just turned 35 on August 25th. So they're going to need Max Muncy. He's going to be full go. Only questions for Max Muncy on the roster would be, how good does he look health-wise early on? Like, does it oblique hold up? How's the knee? How's the production? And how's the production against lefties? And if he struggles against lefties, would you consider some Kike Hernandez at third base if the other bats in center field and left field and second base are cooking? I don't expect that. I think the thing about Max Muncy is he provides so much value just as a guy that sees so many pitches per at bat. He leads the team in that category. He's a guy that even if he strikes out or grounds out or flies out, he's going to see 4+ pitches and make that pitcher work. He gives information to his teammates. That's another critical thing about Max Muncy is he has an at-bat versus a pitcher and then discusses what he saw in that at-bat with his Dodgers teammates, and that helps them. So there's a lot of things you don't see, a lot of intangibles that he brings. So, of course, Max Muncy, he's a lock. Then you've got Tommy Edman. So Tommy Edman is an interesting one in my book because I don't think fans realize this because you're still in the glow of the Tommy tanks that we saw last year in the postseason. But Tommy Edman did not have a good year offensively this year. He did not continue at the pace that he had early on in the year where he was on pace to shatter his regular season home run career high. He ended up hitting 13 home runs, tying a career high that he set in 2022 and 2023. But there was a point early on when Tommy Edman was on pace for 30 or 40 home runs for the first couple of weeks. Like, Tommy Tanks was for real. Then he hurt his ankle, started to deal with some stuff. And overall, he hit 225 with an 81 weighted runs created plus. A lot of the offensive metrics for him were down. So he hit 225 with an 81 weighted runs created plus. And no one has said one thing about Tommy Edman's offense this year. And I think for good reason. He has been injured. I think that's a big reason why. But what if I told you that he had an 81 weighted runs created plus and Michael Conforto had an 83 weighted runs created plus? So technically, Michael Conforto had a better offensive season than Tommy Edman. The only difference is Tommy Edman plays a lot in a different role because he can do multiple things. He can play second base, shortstop, play in the outfield. He's an above average defender. Michael Conforto isn't that. But the point I'm trying to make is that in the postseason, I think Tommy Edman's playing time is largely going to be hinged to his production at the plate early on. Because right now, Tommy Edman is going to be in center field when you have a left-handed pitcher. When he's not, you're going to see Andy Pages slide back to center field and have Michael Conforto in left field when you've got a right-handed pitcher on the mound. If it were me, I would start Kike Hernandez in left field right away because Conforto is going to be in left, Andy Pages is going to be in center, Teoscar Hernandez is going to be in right. If it were me, I'm keeping that solid the entire time. I do not waste my time with Kike Hernandez. I throw him right out there. It doesn't matter if it's a right-on-right situation. I don't care about the platoon. You got to throw away the stats. You got to throw away the projections. You have to look at the dude's got the dog when it matters most. But that's how you can use Tommy Edman. Another interesting thing, too, is if any guy gets injured in the infield, if they move things around, Tommy Edman's a guy that can play shortstop and second base, too. So let's think about that. We've got Andy Pages. He's an absolute lock as well. So that takes you to 7 names. And Pages, the interesting thing about Pages is going to be, will Andy Pages see time in center and left? How is that going to work? Will Teoscar's defense hold up, or will they decide to maybe put Andy Pages in right field at some point throughout the postseason? Those are all options. But the good thing about Andy Pages right now, he had himself a really nice season. Last year, he was a 98 weighted runs created plus, so it was 2% below league average. This year, a 113 weighted runs created plus, was 13% above league average offensively, and hit 27 home runs. Also, he is heading into the postseason, I think, in a pretty good spot as well. 734 OPS in September, but you've seen a lot more production from him of late. And defensively, with that arm, the way it plays, you saw in the Seattle series, throwing out runners the dude is lights out with the arm, so you don't run on him. So that brings you to 7. I think Ben Rortvedt is a lock. He's the best at handling pitchers, pitch framing. With Will Smith dealing with a hand injury, he's going to be the primary catcher. Then you've got Miguel Rojas. He's a lock. Been great against lefties. And the question about Miguel Rojas is, do they truly believe that his hitting is going to translate in the postseason? And has he been good enough in the regular season to justify lineups that might not include Kike Hernandez if they decide to start Mike Conforto in left field and keep Tommy Edman on the field in some capacity as well? Or do you have Andy Paz in center instead of Edman? Or do you believe in Edman's bat? Or just what do you do with Miguel Rojas? Because he's just been really good this season. He's been a big surprise. I don't think anyone could have predicted how good his offense was going to be this year in that role. Against lefties, he has an 879 OPS, hitting 295. So I think early you have to expect Miguel Rojas to get the lion's share of the opportunities at second base. And defensively, I think he provides some stability for Mookie Betts too. I think that really is a thing to consider because Mookie playing shortstop in the postseason for the first time. And then you've got Kike Hernandez, of course, is a lock. We talked about this. It's pretty ridiculous how good he is in the postseason. Does that happen every year? We'll see. But the truth is that Kike is a guy that if the Dodgers lose and he's not given opportunities, they're going to scream about that for the entire offseason. Dodgers fans are like, well, you had Kike Hernandez. You had Mr. Keektober. And then you didn't use him. That would be a huge mistake. So, of course, he's going to be on the roster. There's no doubt about that. Here's a wild stat for you. Highest OPS on the road in the postseason. Lou Gehrig is first at 1375. Babe Ruth is second at 1315. Carlos Beltran is third at 1141. Kike's 1077 road OPS. So let's not forget, hitting on the road is not like hitting at home. And some guys are built for it. Some guys are not. So he's certainly a guy that I think he's going to have a moment. I really do. And he's another guy that, along with Clayton Kershaw, everyone's talking about Kershaw's retirement, all this stuff. Kike, he could be gone too. He's a free agent himself. So I'm sure he wants to go out with a championship if this is it for him. And then now it starts to get interesting because now we've got to talk about the remaining spots on the roster because up until this point, from a position player side, you are up to 11 with Shohei, Mookie, Freddie, Teo, Muncy, Pages, Edman, Conforto, we said is going to make it, Rortvedt, Rojas, and Kike. So those are 11. And then now, what's next? Well, you need a backup catcher, so Dalton Rushing makes it. I don't think that Will Smith is ready to go from a catching standpoint. Dave said that he's hopeful, but it doesn't seem like he's going to be ready to go from a catching standpoint. The other thing, too, you have to look at, too, is from the batting standpoint. Do they consider having Will Smith on the roster if the only option to use him would be as a pinch hitter? That's something to consider. Because the only issue there for me is then you start to play with fire. Because if Will Smith takes in at bat, he gets hit on the hand and he's injured and he has to go off the roster, well, then you can't use him again until the NLCS. So that is playing with fire in that situation. And then on top of that, does this set back the hand healing? Because he has to get ready for those games and he has to take at bats to get ready for those games. Does that hurt that? So that's something to consider with that. But Rushing's on, so that's 12. And then I think Alex Call is going to be on the roster. And I think Hessun Kim is going to be on the roster too. I really do. And at that point, you're looking at the benefit of Alex Call is he's a late game defensive substitution for Conforto and Teoscar Hernandez. He's also a batting option against a left-handed pitcher. And then he's also a pinch run option. He's not lights out speed like Hessun Kim, but he definitely is an above average runner. And I think Hessun Kim in a short series, if you need a run, you don't have a pinch running option that's as good as him. We saw him hit a home run yesterday. I think Hessun Kim makes it. And I think I would prefer to see, I know what I said about a potential pinch hitter, but let's be honest, like this team can beat the Reds without Will Smith. They truly can. They can beat the Reds without Will Smith. If you keep him on, then you could potentially take 15 position players. But I think right now, the position player side, Ohtani, Betts, Freeman, Teo, Muncy, Pajes, Edmund, Conforto, Rortvet, Rojas, Hernandez, Rushing, Call, Hesung Kim. If things change today and Will Smith feels good, then I think that you have Will Smith on the roster. And then the question becomes Alex Call versus Hesung Kim. And the fact that you do have Kike, who's an upgrade defensively to Conforto and Teoscar Hernandez, he could be a late game defensive substitution too, but that's if you don't start him and if he's already in the game. So I do think that they like Hesung Kim on the roster as the guy that can pinch run. So I do think that Hesung Kim would get that spot to round out the roster if they have to pick between Kim and Call. I know that Dave said what he said about Kim just getting an opportunity, but it does make sense to me to get that. I mean, Call you like as a right-handed bat off the bench and the defense late. It's a tough call. I hope they both make it. And I could see Call over Kim right now for sure. And then for the pitching side, I think we're going to way OT on this one. It's all good. For the pitching side, this is where it gets really interesting because Shohei Ohtani does not count against the roster, and you don't need him to make any massive leaps to see what you're going to get with that. So I think from the pitching side, Blake Snell, Yamamoto, Glasnow, Sheehan, Roki, Blake, Edgardo, Vesia, Scott, Robleski, Dreyer, and Bonda. I think those are the pitchers that they're going to roll with. I think they'll take less pitchers than they will take position players. I think that opens things up for Hesung Kim, Alex Call, or including Will Smith on the roster. But I think they end up taking Blake Snell, Yamamoto, Glasnow, Sheehan, Roki, Trinan, Edgardo, Vesia, Scott. I think Robleski is valuable because he can give you a mop-up. If you're blowing out a team, he can be used in a situation. Jack Dreyer and Anthony Bonda. So you want to stack it with lefties, and I think that is how it goes. So the guys not making the roster, well, for starters, there is Will Klein. So Will Klein is not going to make the roster on the simple fact that Will Klein is not eligible to make the roster. Will Klein, because he was optioned when they decided to use Andrew Heaney, well, now he can't be added until even the NLCS. He's not added till the NLCS. He can't return until October 12th, and that comes a day after the end of the NLDS. So you won't see Will Klein. Another guy you won't see, Kyle Hurt. No Kyle Hurt. He will not be on this roster. And it's for the simple fact that you did not see Kyle Hurt get a chance. If they felt good enough, they would have given him an opportunity. So I think it'll keep him warm. If there's an injury, there's anything that requires bringing a guy up, I think he's one of the first guys they do bring up if they want to mix it up. But no Kyle Hurt. Another guy you're not going to see, Bobby Miller. That was already a long shot to begin with. But I think kind of the biggest letdown one would be Ben Kasperius. So no Ben Kasperius on the roster, at least right now. That could change when you go up against a lineup that is more righty heavy and that struggles against righties, because I think Ben Kasperius still has the stuff that plays at this level. But right now, it feels like they're going to stack it with lefties against the Reds, and they're going to keep Ben Kasperius warm. So that is how the roster plays out. I don't think anyone would be shocked if you saw Will Smith on the roster, but that's going to be the number one thing for Dave Roberts to answer today that I'll try to ask him. I'm going to ask Dave Roberts a couple things. I'm going to ask Dave one, unless anyone else does, which they hopefully will. Dave, what's the health and status of Will Smith? And would he be an option just as a pinch hitter if he were healthy enough for that? And would you consider that? And what is the downside of that? And then two, how the heck are you going to give Kike Hernandez at bats throughout the postseason? That is the biggest thing if you're not going to start him. Do you just wait and let it happen naturally? or are you just a little more aggressive with it? I think they're going to be a little more aggressive with it. But all right, guys, that's the roster. Let me know what you think. Spent a lot of time on that, but I want to know from you guys, is there anyone that you would have on the roster that I left off? Is there anyone that you would leave off the roster that I had on? I know you're probably going to say Tanner Scott and things like that, but let me know down below. I will go to a quick 7th inning stretch. This is an extended, this is the deluxe version of Dodgers Dugout Live today with our friend Jerry Hairston Jr. Lots to get into, guys. The postseason is here, but this show is what it is because of you guys, so I can't do a show without talking to the fans. So let's go to the 7th inning stretch.
The 7th inning stretch.
All right, we got Foxy Cinnamon. D-Mac doesn't care about us broken-hearted Raiders fans. We have feelings too. What are you talking about? I was loving Ashton Genty on my Dynasty League. That was good stuff, man. Are you kidding me? That was awesome. But yeah, I mean, the Raiders, it's been tough sledding for Raider Nation for a long time. The Raiders! Reno-san. The goal will be Snell finding his command early, minimize the walks and leadoff hits, because I expect the Reds to be very aggressive, stealing bases throughout the series. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's going to be, that's their identity, and they're not playing to lose. They're playing to win. The Reds feel like they can come in here and beat the Dodgers, right? These are big leaguers. These are big leaguers with talent. Nando, Noel is taking me to the Dodger game tomorrow. All right, that's awesome. I know you're going. What are those things called when they do like a face reveal?
Oh,
like
yeah.
I want like a Nando face reveal.
That'll be fire. We need that.
Nando, Philip Subia, you forgot Lance Lynn will make the roster. Bruh. Lance Lynn just gave another home run as we speak. We've got to I Will Flip You the Bird. You got to get Snell on the show busting out a freestyle. You know, we're going to bust out that freestyle on tomorrow's show because, yeah, Snell, hey, yo, Snellzilla, he's got bars. He's got bars. And hopefully after he pitches this one, maybe we got to get him drunk enough to rap at the Dodgers championship parade. That would be sick. Like, just give me like a couple verses there. Blake Snell, like, you know, if he does a diss track to the Padres, his old team.
We need a Snell and Doze collab.
Doze, that'd be fine. I might jump on there for a couple. I'm telling you guys, I'm about to have a couple of Models and Tortas and drop a freestyle. But it'd be cool to see the Blake Snell do that. But D-Mac looking skinny, slacking on them Tortas. Hey man, my celery juice. Major Chip Hazard. Blake Snell only pitched 11 games for us this season. My boy Yamamoto pitched in 30 games. If we make it past the Reds, Yamamoto better be the NLDS Game 1 starter. I doubt you're going to see them leapfrog guys as far as days rest, and I don't think it's about that at this point. I mean, Yamamoto, and tomorrow I'm going to do regular season awards. I'm actually excited for this. Biggest surprises, things like that. But he's the Cy Young of this team, right? He's arguably the MVP of this team if you're not Shohei Ohtani. So, yeah, I don't think that is a reason to pitch someone because of what they did. If anything, it makes you want to go a Snell because you get more mileage out of him, hopefully, and better performance. But there's a world where all of these guys are going to be elite. Having said that, it is a world where some of these guys have off starts. We've seen that in the past. I mean, we've seen that in the past where you get a guy out there and you're hoping, Hyunjin Ryu or Clayton Kershaw, guys that are the best pitchers in the league, and then it's not their day. So it's happened before. It could happen again. We got Joe Magazzini, D-Mac. Do we still do the piggybacking move? The piggyback thing is interesting. We've talked about it, right? The problem with the piggyback and going starter is there's a lot of variables in play that I think people just think are easier than they really are. For example, asking Blake Snell to come in after Yamamoto. Well, when's the last time Blake Snell's pitched out of the bullpen? How comfortable is he with that routine? And then let's say it does not go right. Let's say that one of those guys is not able to give you that 4 or 5 innings that you're hoping for. And then you have to tap into the bullpen and tax them. And then you're putting yourself in a situation where then you would have to use Clayton Kershaw to start a game. And you start using up all your bullets. And I think it's too panicky for me. And I think, too, on top of that, the bullpen has shown some positive signs. There has been some promise. Blake Snell and Yamamoto, Ohtani, all those guys can carry. There's no doubt about it. But if you're truly looking to win 13 games and go throughout an entire postseason where it could be 5-7 game series, multiple 7-game series, you're talking about, yeah, you have to win 13 games, but you don't have to play 20 to get there. And when you're playing that many games, there's going to be certain games where you're going for it using high leverage guys, but you still burn that high leverage guy in a game that you lose, right? So the truth is you have bullpens for a reason, and it's to deploy the best guys out of that pen. And I will also add another thing too, is this is a bullpen that now includes Roki Sasaki. And I said this during the summertime. Having a dominant rookie that can come up and no one has any familiarity with them, that is the advantage that Roki Sasaki now has. We saw Frankie Rodriguez have that same breakout like he did with the Angels. Roki Sasaki is going to be a household name after this postseason if he's not already, because he brings high velocity four seam. He's added that two seamer that can get out righties. He has that forkball that's nasty. So let's evaluate this bullpen differently than the one that was a dumpster fire for most of the season. Because no, it's not Matt Sauer and Lou Trevino walking through that door, right? It ain't those guys. It's Roki and Sheehan, and Glass now could be used sometimes. Shohei Ohtani, I think, is going to get multiple save opportunities. So I think we have to evaluate the bullpen just a little differently. B.O. Boyd, SSJ Radio Blood. By the way, any super chats, any things you got, comments to the show, let me know. Tomorrow, everybody should eat a banana before the game so that Kike can feel the energy of the Banana Nation. Yeah, we'll treat it like Santa Claus, right? Leave some bananas out tonight under your tree at the chimney for the Banana Man, Mr. Keektober. El Machingona. Snell, Doze, and Ice Cube with Roberts handling the pole duties. Banger. Absolute banger right there. Yeah, we know we're feeling good. When Dave Roberts is twerking, the Dodgers are winning. Ruben Tamayo, yo, D-Mac, did you know the San Diego on the Padres hat stands for second to the Dodgers? There you go. That works for me. I like that. Gets a fire take at the comment of the show. Season done. Works for me, but we'll see. I want to face them in the NLCS. I want to see that. Ron Fig, I'm wearing the WDJF shirt right now. Always wearing Dodgers gear. Keep that energy. That's a good reminder. Go to gearup.la to pick up the latest Dodgers Nation merch. Definitely bring that back. We need another catchphrase this year from Kike. Shin Zong, imagine winning a division and still have to play a wild card series. Rules got to change. The rules are the rules. And the Dodgers, I think, carefully planned out this season where everything has worked out like they would wanted him to, except not getting that bye. And if you ask the Dodgers, hey, what would you rather have? A ticket right to the DS and you skip the bye, or 2.5 starting pitchers? They would probably say, let's play the wild card round. We have all 4 of our starters healthy and our entire lineup outside of Will Smith healthy, but expected to be back. The Dodgers, I think, prioritized health over wins in the regular season. And it gets them going too. Like, good luck to the Phillies facing a Dodgers team that just romped the Reds. Good luck to the Phillies seeing a Dodgers team with momentum that has won 9 of their last 11 games to end the season. The Dodgers have Mr. Mo on their side right now. And was that the goal? Was that the plan to not finish with one of the top 2 seeds? No, it wasn't, because they did last year and they won the whole thing. But there are some advantages and some silver linings to it that I think could work in the Dodgers' favor in this one. MTV Gen X Watcher fan, indeed, reporting live from down here in San Diego. The Padres are having embossed their first place in the West for one-day banner on August 14th as we speak.
Finish him.
4-seater 777 for this live. Touch your nose, D. What does that mean?
I think it was when you were doing the interview with Jay Hair. He thought it was pre-recorded, so he was saying it was live.
Okay, got it. It's like if you need help, blink. Okay, there we go. Reno-san, I don't expect the Reds to go down quietly, but if the Dodgers bullpen has their stuff like we saw the 9 consecutive Ks, they will be fine. Absolutely. Ron Fig, love the writing on the whiteboard when they look in the studio. Yeah, that's a great thing that he always does.
Jay Hare. WB Zill, let's all do a collective hooray for the Trastros who didn't make the playoffs. Like that. Let's do some more down below. What's up, Dodgers Nation? The Giants just fired Bob Melvin. Ouch. Their season ended and our World Series run has just begun. Yeah, look, the Dodgers are going to continue to ruin the lives of other NOS teams because they're going to beat them and they're going to also force them to spend money to try to beat them. And by doing that, you set them back. I mean, they went out there, they got Corbin Burns, he got injured. We got Senior Hefe. Time for the Dodgers to go all Rocky, eat lightning and crap thunder. Hey, Adrian. LOL. We got Lola. Hey, D-Mac, Sugar Mama back. Oh, there we go. What's up, Lola? How are we? Lola, who's your first favorite Dodger? Let us know down below. Adi Aquino. My show is on. What's up, D-Mac? What's up, Adi Aquino? Ron Stoppable, Rebecca Michelle David. What's up, Doug? Dodgers Nation and all. Yeah, we got the whole gang in here. We've got Ron Stoppable, AU Potter, Senior Hefe. We've got let's scroll down a little bit. MTV Gen X, talk about the popsicles.
Got a little super chat for you.
Super chat. Let's check it out. Super chat from Danotix. Dan Cottix. Dan Cottix. That's a good name. $4.99. If we win back-to-back World Series, will D-Mac twerk for us with tortas in each hand? I promise you, I will. Wait. Yeah, tortas in each hand. I mean, I don't know. I'm not that strong. I'm pretty strong. I might break my. I mean, I might crush my hands.
They're just sandwiches.
No, but I like big tortas, like
That's true.
A lot of ingredients, but I promise you, I'll be twerking. I'll be eating tortas. I will be shirtless. Okay, what are you willing? What are you guys willing to give up to win another World Series? Well, that'll be the question for tomorrow that we'll definitely answer. Let's definitely do that. But couple more here. AU Potter, Green is game one starting pitcher, and Pies did back-to-back home runs off Green in the last game. I love that. Okay, let's go to the group here. Noel, who is going to be your wild card round? There's no actual MVP for that round, but who would be your wild card round MVP for the Dodgers?
That's a good question. I'm gonna go with Mookie.
A big wild card round for Mookie. I like that. If you could pick one that would win it, if you could just pick anyone, that would be my pick because it would mean Mookie's right. Because I know what I'm getting from Freddie. I know I'm getting from Shohei. I like that pick. Mookie Betts for Noel. How about you, Emma? Emma, who's your wild card round MVP?
I mean, I think even though it's expected from Ohtani, I feel like it's kind of deserved, if you're expecting it. And I mean, he's clearly coming through and he just set that new record. So I'd like to see him keep that up.
Yeah, how about that? Shohei Ohtani, 55 home runs for the first time in Major League Baseball history. It's never been done. It's more of a statistical anomaly, but I like the Shohei Ohtani pick. I think I got to go Freddie Freeman, though. I'm picking up where we left off, right? Freddie Freeman, World Series MVP. He's hitting right now. He always comes through in the postseason. I do like that we all have a member of the MV3 because as great as this lineup is top to bottom, they're only going to get as far as their top dudes doing what they do. So let's hope that trend continues, that springboards them for the rest of the postseason. But let us know down below who's going to be your wild card series MVP. If it's Michael Conforto, man, what if it's Michael Conforto? What if Michael
get that tattoo?
Okay, if Michael Conforto gets 2 home runs, what will I do? What will I do, man? I guess I'll get the nose piercing. Just kidding. I'll never do that. I would never do that. If Michael Conforto, and what can we do if Michael Conforto hits 2 home runs? I'll do 23 push-ups for you guys. 23 push-ups. 23, which would be a career high. No, I'm just kidding. It's not correct. I can do a lot of push-ups, but I'll do 23 push-ups right here if Michael Conforto gets, I'll do it for just 1 home run. I'll do 23 push-ups for each Michael Conforto home run. All right. We've got I Will Flip You the Bird. Appreciate that super chat. Karma Smith, $4.99. Thank you, I Will Flip You the Bird. But come on now. But all right, guys, running out of time. Long show. I'll be back with you later because I'm going to Dodger Stadium and we're going to be at the practice. I'll give you everything I saw, everything I heard, So be locked in for that later tonight. No game, but we will do a show later to break down everything that Dave Roberts said, everything we saw at the practice. But we are running out of time. We got some writers here. It's Valentina Martinez, A-lister buddy walking by. Good stuff. All right, guys, we are running out of time. So let's get to the walk-off.
The walk-off.
Hits the ball to right field. She is gone.
All right, we got some comments here. Ben Meza says, I'll shave my beard for a World Series. So have those ready for tomorrow. I want the best ones. What are you willing to give up to win the World Series for the Dodgers? Let us know. But on the walk-off today, I want to play this moment from Freddie Freeman and Clayton Kershaw. I thought it was really cool how they handled this. It was shades of Mariano Rivera, them going out to get Andy Pettitte and Derek Jeter going out to get Mariano Rivera when he was retiring. But the Dodgers did a little differently. It wasn't Dave Roberts. It was Freddie Freeman who came out to get the ball from Clayton Kershaw. And then when they're in the dugout, Kersh is just there. He's sitting. He's probably gassed, like he said. And Freddie said, hey, I want that ball. And Clayton Kershaw said, nope.
I wanted that ball, Kersh.
Freddie, I wanted that ball.
Amazing stuff. And we'll have a lot of time this offseason to truly reflect on the career of Clayton Kershaw. And he said after the game that, yeah, it's been great. It's been perfect. But he keeps reminding everyone that there's more baseball to be played, more opportunities for him to pitch. So I'm not ready to write the epitaph just yet. I think they got some more scenes in his movie, and we got the big finale. So we'll talk more Clayton Kershaw as his postseason rolls along. But that is going to do it for this episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. Special thanks to our guest, Jerry Hairston, producer Noel. Special thanks to Emma and the gang. Definitely, they're the best. They got their MVPs, so we got that figured out. Go follow them. Also, join us on the Discord. The Discord is important. Do we have a prize picks today?
Not today.
No prize picks, so good call. And yeah, guys, we'll be joining you later tonight. Hopefully we'll have more clarity on the roster, on the roles, everything I'm hearing. So join us for that. And remember, you can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. Join the Discord, subscribe. And if you want to support every single episode, support your boy, support Roki, support Shohei, support Tommy Lasorda, and hit that like button, drop a comment. And remember that nothing, absolutely nothing, brings us together quite like Dodger baseball. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I am out.